Welcome back to another SUP board review. This time we're going to be looking at the Aqua Marina Beast, which is really aimed at sort of beginners wanting to get on the water for a reasonable price. So it's a cheaper price point board. The specifications for this board, it's 10.6 long, 32 inches wide, it's 6 inches thick, which gives it a volume of 304 litres. When we weighed it, it weighed 9.2 kilograms, so it's fairly light. And we found it online from £380, so it is a cheap price point SUP. Now, Aqua Marina have been making paddleboards for quite a few years, and you can sort of tell that with the sort of look and the finish of this board, because this is a cheap price point board, but there isn't really any things that you'd note on some other brands like glue residue up around the sort of sticky D-rings or glue around the EVA deck pad. It all looks nice and it's relatively well finished. And actually the graphics of the board, I think, are pretty standout for a cheap price point board. Like many other iSUPs, this board has an internal core of drop stitch, and it's finished off with multiple layers of PVC around that to give it an airtight shell. So let's go over some features that come on the Aqua Marina Beast. Starting off at the front there, you've got Aqua Marina's sort of GoPro selfie stick mount that you can screw this attachment, which comes as standard with the board, which is really great. It clips in the front there, and you have a 360-degree angle. You can turn it around, put your GoPro action camera on there and capture all your selfie action, and or actually somebody else, they could be paddling in front of you. And you can unclip that and then take this part off as well if you want to move the camera around as well. This is actually a really nice, and it's quite a well-made system. It's very tough plastic. Used it to film lots of other SUP boarder reviews and technique stuff. It's very handy to have, and it's nice as it comes as standard on the board. Moving back slightly, you've got your bungees, which then you can obviously put your flip-flops or drinks or small dry bag underneath if you want to go somewhere. Then you've got your large EVA deck pad, which is really soft and comfy underfoot. It's probably not the grippiest of EVA deck pads because it's quite a smooth finish, but it's absolutely fine to stand on, and you don't find that you slip around in normal SUP practice. That goes right to the back of the tail, and it's got a nice raised EVA deck pad at the back there. It finished off in a different EVA sort of finish there. The reason that's quite nice, just in case if you're starting off in paddleboarding and you start to get into things like step back turns, you can work your way back and you can actually feel under your feet where the deck pad changes in its sort of grip difference, and you know you're in the right place. So it's just nice to have those sort of features on the EVA deck pads so you can feel where you're on the board. Remember, if you want to find out more about step back turns, other techniques and loads of other reviews, check out supwatermag.com, which we've got full of techniques aimed at improving you and getting you the best SUP you want on the market. So check out SUP Water Mag for more of that. Moving off to the back of the board, you've got your leashing point there, and then you've got your pressure valve at the back there. The recommended pressure for this board is 15 psi. So when we use this board and put it into our deflection test, we make sure we use it at 15 psi. So just in case you're wondering, our deflection test, which is where we measure the bend of the board, is where we put it on a gap of 1.5 meters apart, and we put a weight of 75 kilograms on the center just here, and then we measure how much the board dropped. The board dropped 18 millimeters, which is to be expected for a 6-inch board, is to be completely expected. A really top end expensive iSUP with extra stiffening rods, maybe around 11 or 10, and a pretty bendier, thinner iSUP would be around sort of 25. So it's a pretty respectable drop for a 6-inch thick board. The carry handle the board comes with is adequate, not super comfy, but it's fine if you've got to carry your board 200-300 meters down to the beach. And finishing off with the fin, the board comes with like a slot box style fin, which you can slide the fin in and put a sort of key tab in there, locks the fin in position, don't need any Allen keys or anything else to take down the beach. Very simple and easy to use, and a lot of other brands use that base fin on their boards as well. The only thing to bear in mind with that is it's not as strong as some of the sort of more durable PVC bendy fins, so it's something you've got to look out for a little bit. If you find the kids are running up and down on the board on the beach, best to take the fin out. So having a look at some of the other stuff that comes in the board package, we'll have a look at the pump and the bag. The pump it comes with is a single cylinder, one-way pump. So what I mean by that is you pump down and the air comes out the tube. Some pumps, they pump two ways, on the upstroke and the downstroke. It's a small high aspect ratio cylinder, and actually it does pump the board up absolutely okay, but it does take a little bit longer than a bigger or a fatter dual cylinder pump would do. But as I say, to pump the board up to 15 psi, absolutely fine, and it doesn't leak or hiss when we're at that higher pressure. So it's a sort of lightweight basic pump that you sort of expect to come with a board of this price. The bag it comes with is not actually a bag at all, is it? It's like a stuffed foldable sack sort of thing that we haven't really seen on any of the boards. So basically what happens is you roll your board up, you place it in the middle, you sort of fold that bit up there, clip that on there, and fold it round and fold it round. It's actually quite a simple, easy process to do, and you can clip it right down, and it's very lightweight. I actually quite like this sort of bag, stuff, sack, foldable thing, but it's got a great just for putting it in the car and keeping it protected. It isn't fantastic for traveling and going in airplanes, and if you had to carry long distances. It has got a backpack at the back, but it does tend to dig in a little bit. But it's a nice bag for just stuffing your board in and just keeping it protected in the car or transporting to and from the beach. Another thing that comes as standard is a Schrader valve adapter, which goes straight onto your iSUP valve at the back there, and you can attach an electric pump or a bike pump if you wanted to spend 5 days pumping up your board. But the best sort of thing to use when you have this is to pump most of the air in with your normal pump, and maybe if you're struggling for the last 5 psi and it's getting quite hard and you've got like an electric tire pump inflator in the back of the car, just put that on, and after 5 minutes when you get your wetsuit on, the board will be nicely at pressure. But bear in mind, keep an eye on the pressure. You don't want to overinflate any paddleboard. Now on the water, because it is 10.6 long and 32 wide, it is the sort of dream combination of length and width you want out of a board to do most paddling things. So 10.6 long offers you enough amount of glide, which is forward momentum. It's quite easy to paddle in a straight line, and because it's 32 wide, it offers you that good amount of stability too. Being 6 inches thick, it offers you a large amount of volume, so you can get a relatively large amount of weight on it too. When you're paddling the board, it is easy to use, paddle around, turn around, and just general SUP fun. You could maybe put a small amount of weight or a small person on the front or another dog, take some fishing gear. It's just a general all-round paddling board that's going to let you do most types of paddleboarding, river cruising, coastal hopping, and maybe you could even catch some small little waves with this as well. Rider size, definitely weighing 50 to about 115 kilos. The real sweet spot, probably about 60 to 100 kilos, will be really good on this board. So finishing off with pros and cons and value for money. Pros, the shape of the board is great for getting most people into the sport. It's a great looking board and the graphics really suit it, and it looks really well finished, especially for the price point. Cons, it has got a little bit too much rocker for the ultimate glide, so it's a bit slower than other 10.6 boards on the market. And value for money, well, you guessed it, it is a cheap board. You do get for what you pay for, so the bag is a bit cheaper and maybe the pump is cheaper, but it is good value for the money for the board you get. Hope you found that SUP board review interesting and informative, and it helps you on those buying decisions you might have about the Aqua Marina Beast. Remember, check out supboardermag.com for loads of other technique and hundreds of other reviews in the world of SUP. Otherwise, we'll see you next time on YouTube or on SUP Boarder. Thanks a lot.